Hi guys, before we begin I'd just like to apologise about the delay of the video this week. Last week I recorded the video and I accidentally deleted the files. When I went back to recover them, some of the older files that I had in my recycling bin overrid the ones that I was trying to recover, so I ended up with older files instead. So I'm going to try and get this done this week, and maybe the X-Force video next week, and I'll leave the top 10 remakes until after the toy fair, just in case we get some new stuff that is a remake. At the start of the century, a certain Australian actor made his debut as a Canadian berserker. He was one of the pioneers of the superhero genre of film, and despite this dispute between Fox and Disney, helped set up the Marvel film franchise that will eventually lead to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hi, I'm Comic, and to celebrate Hugh Jackman's final film playing the X-Men known as Wolverine, here's my ideal wave for Wolverine. Hello and welcome, my fellow plastic addicts. Before we get into the ideal wave, I just want to say that this list was very hard to make. That was because I didn't want to bring many of the X-Men bigger mythos into this wave and focus primarily on Wolverine's solo adventures himself. So you won't see many X-Men members in this wave. I also didn't want to use any characters that are in that rumored listing that was listed a few months back. That list was rumored to include two Wolverines. One was the Old Man Logan, but we know that's been moved to the Warlock wave, and another one was the Weapon X version. It also included a new character, Maverick, as well as X-23, which we presume was a Wolverine version, Silver Fox, Sabretooth, Mystique, and Lady Deathstrike, with Silver Samurai being the Build-A-Figure. And while I am skeptical that list is real, I want to come up with something original for this wave. Anyway, for those who have watched other ideal waves, know the rules, but for those who don't, the wave must contain 6 to 8 characters, must have the main character in it. For this one it's going to be 2 Wolverines, must have 2 females and 2 villains, but the 2 females could be the 2 villains as well. And the team for this is Wolverine and Canadian heroes. We start off as always with the main character, Wolverine. For this instance, instead of picking 2 new costumes for Wolverine, I decided to go back and pick 2 costumes that are in desperate need of a remake. The first being, of course, his classic Tiger Stripe version. We know that this is coming out eventually. I just wanted to put him in a Wolverine wave instead of slotting it into a X-Men based wave. And with the recent brown and tan figure being the best Wolverine figure to date, it seems only natural that we get his classic costume. All that we really need to do for this costume is add shoulder pads and maybe a new head, and we're sorted. Also, this figure could include the Berserker Bone Claw Wolverine type head, but like I said in the what needs to be made Wolverine figures, that's really not comic book accurate, but it would be a nice little nod, just like how the Capwood figure was a nice ode to his Capwood version. The other Wolverine I picked is an alternate version, that being the Ultimate Wolverine. The former assassin sent to kill Xavier by Magneto in the Ultimate X-Men, Wolverine was captured by the Weapon Plus project but rescued by the X-Men, where he infiltrated the team before bedding Jean Grey and switching sides. Now, this figure got released before in the first ever Hasbro wave with the Annihilus wave, and that figure was, well, one of the ugliest figures to date. I think even Shattermas Prime has said that is the worst figure ever. Hasbro should really have a second attempt at this figure. Also, make it so that the head can be removed and it can be used on the Old Man Logan body, so we can have a civilian head for the Old Man Logan or just plain Logan. And yes, I know this costume is actually obsolete now because the Ultimate Universe has been destroyed, but nonetheless I kind of want this just to have an updated version, because this figure was also used in the main 161 version as a unified look. Just like I did in my top 10 most wanted figures, I'm going to talk about the next two characters as a pair. That being Aurora and Northstar. Those who watched that video should know that these two are my favourite characters, and it should also be noted that Hasbro did once consider them to be makeable, because they were part of the first fan poll that got us the Age of Apocalypse Sunfire figure. The costume I want is obviously going to be the black and white version. I mean, I don't think anyone else wants a different version for them. Maybe for Northstar, but if you want them as paired, you have to have the black and white Canadian type version for them. Aurora could use the Kate Bishop body mold, while Northstar could use the Pisa Easton's body mold, because both of those molds really give off the sense of a speedster. The next female character I want to talk about for this wave is another Alpha Flight character, that being Vindicator. Heather Hudson is the wife of James Hudson, aka the Guardian that we got a few during the dark period of Marvel. When he was presumed dead, she took up the name Guardian and later Vindicator when he was proved to be alive. While many would like her to come in the female Guardian costume, I think she should come in her green and white costume to give the bit of variety in colour to our Alpha Flight display. She should use the Moonstone body mold. The next character I want to talk about is an X-Men character, but I had to include him in this way because he's very close to Wolverine and considered his best friend, that being Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler. When people think of the one person who is closest to Wolverine, they usually think of Nightcrawler. Kurt and Logan have been the best of friends almost since their debut in the Giant Giant X-Men, with Kurt being Wolverine's moral compass for years. The costume I want for this Nightcrawler is his astonishing X-Men costume. While an updated classic costume would be nice, I want something different, and this really keeps the updated classic look, but giving it a more updated design. Not only that, but I think he should come with a mini Bat figures, those little miniature chibi-like Nightcrawler characters that were introduced in the Wolverine and the X-Men comic, just to annoy Wolverine. And if he could come with, he could go with things like the all different X-Men, because there's a Bat character in that comic. For the first villain of this wave, I'm going to pick the highly requested Cyber. The former World War II drill sergeant of Wolverine, he will become one of Wolverine's most feared villains over the course of years, due to him severely beating Wolverine almost to death after Cyber killed Logan's lover. He's also the one who taught Daken to fight. He has died and come back many times due to his psionic power. The latest one being when he took over the body of a simple beefy type character until he died because that character had a heart defect. Now, some may be thinking that he would be better as a builder figure, but no. Thanks to the new Colossus figure, we now have the perfect mold for him. Hell, all we really need to do is repaint that figure, give him a new head, and maybe some resculpted parts, and we're sorted. And for the last character of the regular figures I want to talk about, I picked Wildchild, the former Alpha Flight character. This character has gone on to reveal that he was working with Romulus and was part of the same race of wolf-like mutants as Sabretooth, Wolverine, Feral, and Wolfbane, all being descended of a tribe of wolf-cat people who eventually evolved into humans and eventually became mutants. So it really begs the question, is Wolverine and Sabretooth actually mutants, or are they just another race of wolf-like characters? But anyway, due to his relatively short stature, I think the teenage body mode would work for him. As for the costume, I can't really pick one because there's nothing really that stands out, except the Age of Apocalypse version. Not only would that go with the Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth, but it was used for a time in the 161 universe. Other than that, this is the full leather type one where he has piercings and everything over it that was seen in Wolverine's origin after House of M. And lastly, the Build-A-Figure. I thought for this, Hasbro can go back and redo a figure that was good, but was way too short, and that being the Wendigo. The Canadian cannibal monster. This hulking white furred beast is usually a huge monster, and not like the short monster figure we got before. The Hulk is even considered him a monster. Now consider that, the Hulk, a huge behemoth that doesn't fear most stuff, considers the Wendigo to be a monster. Hulk has fought one of these beasts on more than one occasion, and he has done so more than any other character, even more so than the Hulk. In fact, whenever the Hulk and Wolverine team up in many of the TV series, it's usually to fight the Wendigo. Hell, they even teamed up in the very first comic he appeared in to fight the Wendigo. For this, it's hard to get a mold for it because it has a load of fur, so I think Hasbro really needs to create a new body mold for it. That body mold could later be used for furry giants like Sasquatch that does need a remake as well. Anyway, that's my ideal way for Wolverine. What do you guys think? If you liked the video, please like, share and subscribe. Follow us on all the social media sites, as well as checking out our website. I'll be back next week with the X-Force Team Near Complete set, and I'll be taking a break then afterwards because I want to have a week to let the toy fair happen, and so we can have some new reveals happen. So I'll see you when I see you.